Hello.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? So I'm also accompanied by some dynamic women from Nestle, and we have some interesting stories to tell you today. For centuries, women have heard the same words. Don't dream too big. Wait your turn. Know your limits. We were told that we couldn't become scientists, but we changed the world with our discoveries. We were told that we don't belong in the boardroom, but we took a seat at the table. We were told that leadership is not for us, and yet here today, we all prove that it is. At Nestle, we don't just talk about progress. We drive it every single day. We don't wait for doors to open. We build them, break them if necessary, and we hold them open for those who follow.
You are enough. I was only 4 when my mother sat me and my sister down and said this to us for the very first time. And at that tender age, I couldn't figure out why. You are enough. Almost 2.5 decades ago, I was born to this woman who was the youngest of 3 sisters, just as I am the youngest of 2. I grew up next to 2 incredible friends who were also the youngest among their own trio of sisters in an all-girls school for almost a decade. And in all these years gone by, I can clearly remember the world tell a very different narrative about me, about my gender. Oh, so only daughters, no son. Only sisters, huh? No brother. Life must be tough, huh? भाई होता, बेटा होता, तो माँ बाप का सहारा बनता, ताकत बनता, as if strength had a gender, as if worth could be measured in something as simple as chromosomes. Yet I was extremely lucky to grow up watching women who rewrote the narrative, women who rewrote the rules, women who were told exactly the same, that they aren't enough, but proved otherwise. So when I stepped into the corporate world in 2020, I carried the voices of those women, more so the words of my mother, with me. I was only a 23-year-old, naive and scared caterpillar when I entered Nestle Pakistan as a management trainee in finance with nothing but a whole lot of ambition. I wasn't sure about myself. I wasn't sure if I was simply enough. But then Nestle believed in me before I could even believe in myself. 4 transformative years in this place sent me from sales to costing to factory to planning to business. It never asked me if I was ready, it made me ready. And when the world tried to remind me of the limits placed on my gender, on women, my workplace shattered those for me. Ladies, for years, the society has told us women to compromise, to adjust, to shrink ourselves to fit into spaces not built for us. But this place, it told me to own space, to own my ambition. So today, as I stand here watching the next generation of young women, I say this to you from the utmost core of my heart. What my mother once said to me, that you are enough.
की मोहब्बत तो सियासत का चलन छोड़ दिया, की मोहब्बत तो सियासत का चलन छोड़ दिया, हम प्यार ना करते तो हुकूमत करते. They say certain paths are not meant for women. There are certain doors that cannot open for us. That there are certain ceilings that are too high to be broken. I have spent my entire life proving them wrong. I entered NED University of Engineering and Technology with one goal in mind: to challenge all limitations placed before me. I wasn't just there to learn. I was there to lead, and I did it. I became the first ever president of IEEE, which is an international body for electrical and electronics engineering in history of NAD. I was being told that leadership in my field does not belong to women. Till date, I made sure that they remember my name. Life changed, and I became a mother. Balancing my master's at IBA, a newly born daughter, and a career wasn't just difficult. It was test of everything I was made of. I didn't juggle. I thrived. I found a new love in supply chain management. I dived deeper into operations planning, logistics management, supply chain problems, and my love for supply chain and loyalty remain the same. My persistence and hard work in this supply chain field actually helped me in gaining one of the biggest milestones of my career. I got an opportunity to lead one of the largest distribution centers of Karachi. Yes, ladies, a distribution center which is never meant for women, which is never even designed for women. But I was there, I was leading it, I was owning it, making it my own, and proving them all wrong. वो कहते हैं ना, इरादे जिनके पुख्ता हो, नजर जिनकी खुदा पर हो, तला तुम खेज मौजू से वो कभी घबराया नहीं करते. And in 2021, Nestle happened to me. A place where I do not have to find my seat because it was there waiting for me. A place that didn't see my gender as an obstacle, but as an asset. Factory supply chain operations, another male-dominated world. I heard lots of noises. Trust me, lots of noises. Will you be able to handle such operations? Will you be able to make your mark in this new organization? Will you be able to handle a multi-generational workforce? Lots of noises again. But I turned a deaf ear to those noises. And I had a laser-sharp focus on my strengths, on my energy, my maximization skill, my inclusion skills. I lead my operations with a vision, and that actually helped me in excelling all those roles. And then another moment of decision come into my life. A relocation opportunity, a new city, a new team, and a new challenge. But again, the same old questions. Can she do it? Will she be able to pull it off all alone? But this time, thankfully, Nestle was with me. Nestle ensured that I had what it takes. They didn't just relocate me, they relocate us. Nestle ensured that I and my child had the ability to build a new home without breaking the one we had. Today, I stand in front of you not just as a procurement business partner, or not just merely a woman in leadership. Today, I stand here in front of you as a proof that when we women rise, we do not rise alone. We bring our families, our teams, and a future generation with us.
For as long as I can... For as long as I can remember, I walked into rooms where I was not expected, where I was the only woman on the table, the only one who raised her hands, and trust me, I raised my hands, the only one who dared to take space. Coming from a small town with limited resources and opportunities, growing up with a million sacrifices that my parents made to educate us, imagine the weight on a child's shoulder, the struggles, the expectations. And when I entered the corporate world, I felt the same weight of expectations, the same questions in people's eyes, those silent questions that can she handle, can she lead, can she navigate this world which was not built keeping her in mind? And every time my answer was, watch me. Nestle looked at me not as a woman in business, not as an exception, not as a gender KPI. It looked at me as a woman, as a future leader. It gave me the opportunity beyond my own doubts. It gave me a platform to learn and grow, the right tools to thrive, the mentorship, the coaching that I needed, and trust me, we all need that. So, the question is, even if you achieve, even if you prove many a times, we all know that it's never enough. Those questions never stop, those whispers never linger, those things in the corridors like she got the promotion because she's a girl, they wanted to keep a girl on this role. We know all this never ends. It happened. It has always happened. Nestle took a chance on me and I took a chance on myself. I packed my bag amidst COVID pandemic where the world was shut down. I left my familiar faces, my family, my familiar territory, and I entered the global stage at Nestle headquarters, Switzerland, where the rooms were even bigger, the expectations even higher, and that same voice, those doubts lingering. And you know what? I finally got my answer when I went there. That do I deserve to be here? Do I deserve? Do I belong? And Nestle answered yes. And now, as the first time ever in the a female leader in the sales leadership team as part of the management committee, I don't ask for permission to belong. I own my space. I build, thank you, I nurture, and I try to lift as many people as I can as I move in my journey. Because you know what, my friend, throughout my journey I've learned it's not about climbing the corporate ladder. It's really about lifting other people and forming that camaraderie. Because honestly, koi maza nahi hai being up there all alone. I learned that the winner does not have to stand alone. And what I learned the most is that leadership is not about being fearless or being perfect. It's actually about moving together step by step, despite the fear, despite the vulnerability.
There comes a time in every woman's life, at least once, when she finds herself at a crossroad and she has to choose between expectations or choosing who she wants to be and be willing to fight for it. For me, one of those times came when I had my son. I had built a great career in journalism, but suddenly what had once been exciting suddenly became unsustainable. And the world expected me to step back, to put a hold on my career. And to be honest, for 6 months, I did. I tried. But deep down, I knew I wasn't meant to stop. Gaining identity as a mother didn't mean that I had to give up my identity as a working professional. And that is exactly why I joined Nestle, because it offered me a chance to do both, be a mother and work as a professional. With the daycare being just steps away, I could work without guilt. Or let's be honest, I could work with less guilt. I could go and check up on my son anytime. I could finally focus. I could finally breathe. And then life threw another curveball my way. My brilliant husband got a scholarship to the UK, and I had to decide whether we should move with him or stay behind. And imagine me going up to my line manager just a few months into my job to have this discussion. And what he said, I've never forgotten. He said, we'll make it work. And that is exactly how I made that year work, as a single parent, alone, but never unsupported. And in that year, Nestle came up with another extraordinary policy, a policy that allowed young children to travel with their mother if she was traveling for work, and the company would pay for that. And you know, not just the child, but also a caregiver. It is a policy that says, we see you, we support you, we will never make you choose between your family and your ambition. But let's be honest, support isn't just policies, is it? It's also about people. It's about the mentors that were placed in my path, the leaders who saw my potential before I saw it myself. And so when the time came for me to do the same, to mentor, to guide, to pay it forward, I knew that I was standing on the shoulders of all those who had lifted me up. I was part of something bigger. And talking about being part of something bigger, one day my 5-year-old son was talking to somebody and he was saying, my amma works in sustainable packaging. He wasn't old enough to understand that concept, but he had absorbed those words because of the meetings I had. And he was taking pride in my work, he was taking pride in me, and at that moment, I realized I wasn't just building a career, I was shaping a legacy. In the 11 years that I have been at Nestle, they haven't just invested in my career, but they've invested in me. When people around me told me that my introversion wasn't a leadership quality, Nestle offered me something better than advice. They gave me an understanding. Through the Gallup Clifton Strengths Finder program, I was able to see my introversion not as a weakness, but as a superpower. Being a relator, being intentional, investing in people. These aren't weaknesses, these are strengths. And ladies, that is what leadership is all about. It's not about changing yourself to fit a certain image. It's about owning who you are. It's about being true to yourself. It's about guiding people, helping people, disagreeing with respect, but also speaking up, even when your voice shakes. It's about standing in rooms of power and knowing I belong here.
Today, Nestle and these women stand for ambition, courage, resilience, and legacy. These women are not just stories, they are proof that when women are supported, enabled, and given equal opportunity, they don't just succeed, they transform everything around them. So to all the women watching today, to all the girls wondering if they can, yes, you can. You can chase ambition without guilt. You can build a career without sacrificing your family. You can lead, innovate, and inspire because you have limitless potential. And this journey does not end with us. It starts with you. Thank you very much, everyone.